Hello, welcome to New Fast Food, your place for discussion and analysis of the latest fast food news. Let's get started. Jack in the Box is launching their food truck series, a line of three new sandwiches that are inspired by food trucks. There's three varieties. There's the Asian chicken fried sandwich, which consists of chicken strips, Asian slaw, cucumbers, gochujang, not pronouncing that right, mayo, on a new toasted baguette. They make a point to call these baguettes new. I don't know if that means, like, obviously they've had baguettes on other sandwiches before. I don't know if that refers to the recipe of the baguette or just the size of it. It looks quite a bit smaller than other baguettes I recall from Jack in the Box. They also have the prime rib cheesesteak with strips of prime rib, grilled in garlic butter, peppers, onions, provolone cheese, again on the new baguette. And then the Pork Belly BLT with 2 slabs of seared pork belly, lettuce, tomatoes on the baguette. Now, they started testing these sandwiches back in September, according to brandeating.com. Pork belly is, of course, a new ingredient for Jack in the Box. Really, it's fairly new to the fast food industry in general. Arby's is the only one that's really had a pork belly sandwich on their menu before. They've had one as an LTO for 2 years now in a row. It's also interesting that they're calling these the food truck line because, I mean, there are some interesting recipes here, but nothing jumps out at me as something that I would definitely be getting from a food truck. Now, Jack in the Box is no stranger to the food truck industry. They've had their own food truck down in Southern California for about 7 years now, since 2011. So they've known for quite some time that people enjoy eating at food trucks. Now let's talk about the way that they launched this campaign. So the sandwiches were available starting on Friday, but they really debuted them during the Super Bowl. They had a 60-second ad during the Super Bowl that featured Martha Stewart and Jack getting into a celebrity feud. It's a huge investment for Jack in the Box into this LTO because it was not a 30-second spot. It was a 60-second spot. 30 seconds, so you know, is the standard for TV commercials. And a standard TV commercial during the Super Bowl this year costed $5 million. So for a 60-second ad, you're looking at $10 million in that neighborhood. But I think it was money well spent. I loved the ad. It was really funny. It was one of my favorite ads in the Super Bowl this year. And speaking of the Super Bowl, Wendys had a huge presence at the Super Bowl. They had a total of 5 spots. They had 3 30-second spots and 2 15-second spots. So based on my calculations, depending on where the ads ran, I'm not sure if all 5 ran during the actual game, but if they did, and you're looking at over $20 million of a spend on Super Bowl commercials for Wendys. If they were in the pregame, postgame, some of those could have been a little bit less, but still probably in the same neighborhood because pregame, postgame spots, they're still not cheap. The Wendys spots were not new spots. We'd seen them at least within the last couple of weeks. So we've seen these same spots running. If you haven't seen them, they're directly targeting McDonald's and their flash frozen beef. Wendys is one of the fast food chains that has fresh, never frozen beef. Remember, last year Wendys passed Burger King to become the second biggest burger chain in the nation. So it goes McDonald's, and then Wendys, and then now Burger King. And so Wendys, now passing Burger King, is basically setting their sights squarely on McDonald's, even though there's still quite a distance. So if you look at the sales, McDonald's is number 1 with about $36 billion in sales, and then below that, again in the burger category, you've got Wendys and Burger King both at about $9 billion. So there's a big difference between that first spot and the second spot. And in fact, Wendys, even having passed Burger King, is still more in the Burger King level. than they are on McDonald's level now. I think it's a wise move by Wendy's to go after McDonald's for the frozen beef, because that is Wendy's competitive advantage there at the top. Both McDonald's and Burger King have frozen beef, so it's Wendy's competitive advantage, and they're not going to have it for much longer, because if you remember, McDonald's about a year ago announced that starting mid this year, sometime this summer, we're assuming, their quarter pounder burgers are going to be fresh. They're no longer going to use frozen beef in the quarter pounder with cheese, the double quarter pounder with cheese, and any other burger on their menu that uses that quarter pound patty. Of course, the Big Mac, other regular cheeseburgers, double McDoubles, everything else does not use a quarter pound patty, so those will still be frozen. But McDonald's is going to put an emphasis on some of their burgers now not being frozen. And Wendy's is going to push back and say, well, all of our burgers are not frozen. We use fresh beef in all of our burgers. They're not the only fast food restaurant that does that, by the way. Of the 13 burger restaurants in the top 50 QSRs, 7 of them have fresh beef. So it's not like Wendy's is the only one, but they are the biggest one, and there is quite a big jump from Wendy's to the next closest competitor that does fresh beef, which is Whataburger, with only about $2 billion in sales. I like that the Wendy's ads were clear and direct to the point they were trying to make. This is what McDonald's does. We do it differently. And the best part, I thought, was that they had the whole text written out on the screen. So if you're watching the Super Bowl in an environment where there was noisy or you couldn't hear the sound, you didn't have to, because the words were all there on the screen. If you're watching the game, all of a sudden the Wendy's commercial comes up and you don't have to hear anything. You see on the screen, McDonald's, beef, flash frozen, Wendy's, not. I really like that approach because they were able to get, I think, maximum impact with their message. So expect Wendy's to continue hammering at this until at least this summer, when McDonald's introduces their fresh beef. In our next bit of news, Panda Express opened their 4th Panda Plus T location. If you're not familiar, Panda Plus T locations are so far all located in Southern California, and they offer a different menu than the regular Panda Express locations. They offer food and also Asian teas. And one of the purposes of the different food menu is so that they can test out new recipes, so to speak. I'm not familiar with any, so they've been doing this for about a year now. I'm not familiar with any menu items that have made the jump from a Panda Plus T to the actual Panda Express, but that could be in the works soon. Some of the things that they have are like honey glazed pork belly. Again, pork belly looks to be a hot item. Not really something that I'm interested in, the pork belly, but a lot of people are. It's a very popular ingredient at restaurants currently. There's quinoa brown fried rice, glazed carrots and Brussels sprouts, kale, cabbage, and broccoli stir fry. Not sure how many of these could potentially make the jump to the mainstream Panda Express locations, but they're testing it. So they're opening their 4th location for Panda Plus T tomorrow in Pasadena. So if you're in that neighborhood, go ahead and check it out. And of course, now we're firmly into QSR seafood season. There's already been quite a few announcements of restaurants bringing back their seafood options for the Lenten season. Most recent ones are Jack in the Box announced the return of their fish sandwich, which is 100% Alaskan pollock. Del Taco has brought back their jumbo shrimp, which they use in their jumbo shrimp tacos, jumbo shrimp burritos, epic surf and turf burritos, and they also have their beer battered fish tacos. Pretty much the same seafood items they've had for the last couple of years at least, since they introduced the epic burrito line. Is the last time I remember something has changed. That year they introduced the epic surf and turf burrito. Since then, I don't think that any of these items are new. Also, El Pollo Loco has brought back their Baja shrimp. The Baja shrimp can be found in their shrimp avocado Baja tacos, Baja shrimp tostada, Baja shrimp bowl, Baja shrimp wrap. So these items are the same items that they used their Baja shrimp for last year. But if you look at the descriptions of the items, it looks like a little bit has changed. For example, the shrimp wrap looks like it no longer comes with cilantro. It might not have both kinds of cheese that it did last time. But for the most part, El Pollo Loco's shrimp offerings also the same. Getting into some deal news, Pizza Hut is offering 30% off for their Hut Rewards members this Thursday, which they say is National Pizza Day. If you're an existing Hut Rewards member, there's nothing you have to do. The discount will show up in your account. If you're not a Hut Rewards member, you just need to sign up for Hut Rewards by Thursday. It's a bit of a consolation. So if you remember, Pizza Hut was promoting that for the Super Bowl, if the record for fastest touchdown was broken, Hut Rewards members would get a free pizza. They did a lot of promotion of this, even though it wasn't very likely to happen. You see, the fastest touchdown ever in a Super Bowl happened within the first 14 seconds of the game. So it would be extremely unlikely for that to happen, especially since there's only been a couple instances of that of a quicker touchdown happening in a regular season game. Anyways, so there's no free pizza because that record did not get broken on Sunday, but they are offering 30% off to Hut Rewards members this Thursday. So a bit of a consolation, like I said. That's it for today's news. My name is Brian. This is the first episode of New Fast Food. I plan on making new episodes every Monday and Thursday night. Catch up with all the latest fast food news. I want to hear from you. Have you had a chance to try the new Jack in the Box food truck series? If so, which ones have you tried? Which ones appeal to you? Which ones are your favorites if you've tried more than one? What did you think of the Super Bowl commercials? Did you like the Jack in the Box ones? Did you find it as funny as I did? Did you like the Wendys ones? Did you like their strategy of going after McDonald's? It's not always a good idea to mention your competition in your commercials because people see the commercial, and if they're not really paying attention, all they see is McDonald's logo on their screen, and maybe they get hungry for a Big Mac. Do you live in Southern California? Have you been to a Panda Plus T location? Do you think that the food is a lot better than at regular Panda Express locations? Is there an item at the Panda Plus T locations you'd like to see get picked up by the National Panda Express? What is your favorite place to get seafood during this QSR seafood season, the Lenten season? I like to go to Long John Silver's, even though fish is not an LTO item at Long John Silver's. I don't get to eat there very often. I like to use Lent as an excuse to go to Long John Silver's and get some deep fried fish. What do you think of Pizza Hut's consolation 30% off? Were you hoping that the record for fastest touchdown would be broken and that we'd all get free pizza? Let me know. And if you like this video and you want to watch more, you're in luck. We offer subscriptions. They're 100% free. All you have to do is click on the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. Give me some feedback down below. And I'll talk to you again real soon.